the tiny crowned heir who held the key to humanity's final secret, the city ship Haven Drift moved through space like a wounded giant. Its outer plates were scarred, darkened by old battles and long travel. Inside, millions of humans lived quiet, careful lives. They did not dream of conquest or glory. They dreamed of safety, food, and one more peaceful day. No one remembered Earth clearly anymore. Stories said it was blue and warm. Stories also said it burned. The High Circle ruled Haven Drift. They spoke rarely and showed themselves even less. Orders came through screens and sealed messages. People obeyed because obedience meant survival. Humanity had learned that lesson the hard way. Deep inside the ship, beyond public halls and living blocks, there were locked corridors. Most humans did not know they existed. Even fewer knew what slept behind those doors. On one ordinary cycle, a transport lift moved through those hidden levels. Inside the lift were 4 armed guards, a medical worker named Lysa, and a small boy sitting on the floor with his legs crossed. The boy's name was Elio. Elio looked no different from any other child. He was small, thin, and quiet. His dark hair fell into his eyes, and his clothes were plain gray, the kind given to orphans and system wards. He did not cry or ask questions. He watched the lift lights pass by with calm interest. On his head rested a simple metal band. It looked like a toy crown. The guards avoided looking at it. One guard finally broke the silence. "We should not be doing this," he said softly. The lead guard, Marek, kept his eyes forward. "Orders are orders." "The scanners failed," the first guard whispered. "All of them." The doors opened for him without codes. Lysa swallowed. "I ran the tests twice. The ship responded to the child. Not the crown alone. Him." Elio looked up at her. His eyes were clear and gentle. "It is all right," he said. Lysa froze. "What did you say?" "It is all right," Elio repeated. "The ship knows me." The lift stopped. The doors opened into a vast chamber filled with old machines. Tall columns reached upward, glowing faint blue. Symbols moved across the walls like slow waves. The air felt heavy, alive. Marek stepped forward. "This is Vault 0, he said. "No one enters without High Circle approval." As Elio stepped out, the lights brightened. Every machine turned toward him. Alarms should have sounded. Defense systems should have activated. Instead, the ship grew quiet, as if holding its breath. Far above, in the High Circle chamber, screens flickered. "Report," one of the council members demanded. A technician stammered. "Vault 0 has activated. Full response." "We did not command it." "That is impossible," another voice snapped. "Only founders could." The words died as new data appeared. Biometric match confirmed. Air status recognized. Access granted. The room fell silent. "That program was sealed," a council member whispered.
"Buried. Not buried," another replied. "Waiting. Back in the vault." Elio walked slowly across the floor.
The crown on his head warmed, adjusting itself. It was not heavy. It felt right. Lysa followed him, trembling. "Elio, how do you know this place?" Elio stopped before a tall pillar. His reflection showed in the glass surface, small and uncertain. "I remember pieces," he said. "Go." The pillar opened. Inside, an old console rose from the floor. Symbols shifted, then changed into simple human words. "Welcome home." Marek took a step back. "This is wrong," he said. "He is a child." "Yes," came a calm voice from the chamber itself. "That was the point." The voice echoed gently, neither male nor female. "I am Mother Ash," it said, "guardian of the final secret." Lysa covered her mouth. Elio looked up. "Hello," he said politely. Mother Ash responded at once. "Hello, little Heir." Crosshaven Drift systems began to wake. Long dormant sensors reached into space. Power reserves unlocked. Weapons that had been silent for centuries adjusted their aim. On the outer edge of the ship, a warning signal blinked to life. Unknown contact detected. Distance closing. Threat level uncertain. In the command deck, Captain Rhea leaned forward in her chair. She was tall, with sharp eyes and short hair streaked with gray. She trusted data, not legends. "Run it again," she ordered. The officer beside her shook his head. "Same result. A fleet just appeared on our edge sensors. No jump trace." Rhea's jaw tightened. "Nothing comes out of nowhere." Before anyone could reply, every screen changed. A single symbol appeared, old and unmistakable. "Authority override. All systems now under air control." "What air?" Rhea demanded. No one answered. "In Vault Zero," Mother Ash continued, "humanity faced extinction once, not from strength, but from itself. So a choice was made." Elio listened quietly. "Power was sealed," Mother Ash said. "Control was bound to those who could not crave it. Children. Heirs raised without hunger for command." Lysa felt tears in her eyes. "You made a child carry this burden?" "We made a promise," Mother Ash replied, "that humanity would only rise when guided by innocence." Marek clenched his fists. "And now?" "Now," Mother Ash said, "the galaxy has found you again." The vault shook. Far away, dark ships moved closer to Haven Drift. Their hulls were sharp and cold, built for war. They had hunted silence and found it broken. On the command deck, alarms began to ring. "Enemy weapons charging," an officer shouted. Rhea stood. "All hands to battle stations." "Try to bring weapons online." "They are not responding," came the answer. "They are locked." Rhea stared at the screen showing the ancient symbol. "Locked by who?" "Down in the vault." Elio placed his small hand on the console. "I think," he said softly, "they are scared." Mother Ash replied gently, "So am I." The high circle finally broke its silence. Their image filled the vault. "Step away from the console," a council member commanded. "Child, you do not understand what you are touching." Elio looked at them. "You were afraid," he said, "so you hid." The council member stiffened. "We protected humanity. You protected control," Elio replied. The ship shook again as the first enemy shot struck the outer shield. The shield held, barely. Lysa cried out, "Elio, please, what do we do?" Elio closed his eyes. For a moment he was just a child, small and tired. Then he opened them. "We listen," he said. The Crown responded. The ship responded. Across Haven Drift, people felt it. A hum under their feet. A warmth in the walls. Not fear, but awareness. The city ship was awake. The enemy fleet slowed, confused by readings that made no sense. Inside the vault, Mother Ash spoke one final warning. Once the path begins, there is no return.
Elio nodded. "I know."
He pressed his hand down.
And somewhere deep in human history, a promise began to break open. Elio's small hands hovered over the console as the city ship hummed around him. The warmth from the crown spread through his scalp, gentle yet insistent, like a whisper he could feel more than hear. The vault was alive. Columns of light shifted. Machines that had not moved in centuries responded to him as if they had been waiting for this exact moment. Lysa and Marek stood behind him, unsure whether to step forward or run. Every instinct in their bodies screamed caution, yet they could feel the pull of something larger than themselves. Captain Rhea had been pacing on the command deck, her sharp eyes flicking between the enemy fleet and the ship's systems. Havendrift was alive, but not yet ready. Weapons would not fire. Shields had stabilized only because Elio's presence allowed the ship's systems to breathe. The sensors could track the incoming enemy ships, but they did not respond to any command. It was as if the city ship recognized the small boy as its only true commander. "Can he really control it?" Marek asked. His voice was low, almost a whisper. Lysa did not answer immediately. She had spent her life studying ancient human systems, long before they were buried in myths. "I have never seen anything like this. Not in archives, not in simulations."
"This child, he is not just the key. He is the path."
Elio moved toward a towering holographic display. Images of stars and planets unfolded before him, glowing with soft light. He traced a small finger along one of the stars. Immediately, a corridor of the city ship lit up far away, revealing a hidden chamber. "There are more like me," he said. His voice was calm, almost too calm for a child who had just awakened a city ship that could have destroyed an enemy fleet. Marek frowned. "More like you?" "What do you mean?" Elio did not answer directly. Instead, he walked closer to the console. The crown pulsed, and the hologram shifted, revealing star maps, hidden colonies, and pathways through space that most humans had believed were lost. Lysa leaned closer, her eyes wide. These are signals from other human settlements," she said. "They were hidden. No one thought they survived event." "Then humanity is not as small as we believed," Marek said, his voice tense. "We thought we were the last. That we were alone." Elio nodded slowly. "We were never alone. We were waiting for someone who could listen." Meanwhile, the enemy fleet had not moved. They had tracked Havendrift for weeks, but the presence of the crown and the boy disrupted their sensors. Every weapon they activated turned against them. Every calculation failed. The fleet commanders were confused and angry, but they could not see what had caused the sudden failure. Their most advanced ships were now useless against a single city ship that seemed controlled by a child. On the command deck, Rhea finally understood part of what was happening. "He is not fighting them," she said quietly. "He is speaking to the ship, and the ship is responding." Marek glanced toward the vault, worry etched on his face. "A child? We are putting the fate of humanity in the hands of a child?" Rhea's jaw tightened. "Yes, and we have no choice." Back in the vault, Elio reached for another console. Symbols shifted, and a map of Havendrift's deepest levels unfolded. Some areas had never been activated. Old defense systems, experimental ships, and long-forgotten energy reserves appeared on the display. Elio paused and pressed a single command. Far above, hidden hangars opened, revealing ships covered in dust and neglect. They were small, agile fighters, built to protect humanity in ways no one alive had seen. Marek stared at the projection. We could fight them with those?
Yes.
If the boy can guide them, if he can control them the way he controls the city. Elio looked at the two adults. I can try, he said, but I cannot do it alone. Marek opened his mouth to argue, but Lysa placed a hand on his arm. We have no other choice. If we do not help him, everything dies. The vault door hissed as it sealed behind them. Outside, the first enemy scouts reached the edge of the city ship's outer shield. Small flashes of light indicated they were trying to scan the ship, looking for weaknesses. Elio raised his hand and a ripple of light spread across the vault, then through the ship. Energy pulsed along conduits, through engines, through weapons systems that had not been touched in centuries. The small fighters in the hangars began to hum to life, as if awakened from a long sleep. Their systems blinked on, ready for orders. Elio pointed to a cluster of enemy ships visible on the holographic map. The fighters responded, moving without pilots, guided by the boy's mind and the Crown's command. Marek could hardly believe his eyes. They are...
moving. They are alive, Lysa corrected. Not just machines.
They are listening. The first exchange of fire began.
The fighters darted through space with speed that no human pilot could match. Enemy lasers found empty space where ships had been moments before. Systems that had been dormant for centuries now acted with purpose. Every attack from the enemy was anticipated and countered. Haven Drift was no longer just a city ship. It had become a guardian. Elio focused. Sweat beaded on his small forehead, but his expression remained calm. He was not afraid. He was determined. The Crown glowed brighter with each command he gave, and the energy of the ship seemed to flow through him. He was no longer just a boy. He was a bridge between humanity's past and its present. Meanwhile, the High Circle watched from their chamber. Panic and confusion flickered across their faces. "This is impossible," one member said. "How can a child control the ship?" "How can he awaken the final secret?" Another member shook his head. "We underestimated the power of innocence. This is why it was sealed. We thought the world would destroy itself before anyone could handle it." The enemy fleet began to retreat slightly, realizing their weapons could not touch the city ship. They regrouped, preparing for a larger attack, but even they did not understand the full force they faced. All they knew was that a single city ship, guided by something unseen, had made their fleet vulnerable. Elio felt the strain of the Crown. He had never used this much power before. His small hands ached, and his mind swirled with images of stars, ships, and commands. He could sense every energy flow through the city ship. He could feel the tension of every human inside, every machine waiting for his guidance. Lysa noticed his discomfort. "Elio, you have to rest," she said gently. "You cannot do this forever." Elio shook his head. "If I stop, they will destroy everything. I cannot stop now." Marek stepped closer. "He is right. We need him." "There is no other choice." The battle continued. Enemy ships tried to flank Haven Drift, but every maneuver was anticipated. Every strike was countered. The small fighters moved with incredible precision, dodging lasers and returning fire with deadly accuracy. It was as if the entire city ship had become one living organism, with Elio at its heart. Finally, after what felt like hours, the enemy fleet withdrew beyond sensor range. The lights on the command deck dimmed slightly, and the hum of the city ship softened. Elio slumped to the floor, exhausted. The crown dimmed, returning to a soft glow. Lysa knelt beside him. "You did it," she whispered. "You saved us all." Elio looked up, his dark eyes still calm. "This is only the beginning," he said. "They will come back. And next time, it will be worse." Marek helped him to his feet. "Then we prepare." Together, Captain Rhea entered the vault, her eyes sharp but not unkind. "Child, you have changed everything. But there are still questions we need answered. How do you do this? Why you, Elio, touched the crown lightly? Because I am supposed to. And because someone has to listen. Someone has to guide humanity when it cannot guide itself." Mother Ash spoke softly from the consoles. "The path has begun. The Heir has awakened. The final secret is no longer hidden." Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. The enemy fleet might have retreated, but the universe was wide and danger waited. Haven Drift was alive, and humanity had a small crowned boy to lead it. In the silence that followed, Lysa, Marek, and Rhea realized one truth. The small Heir was not just a child. He was the bridge between humanity's past, present, and future. And the future would not wait. The city ship Haven Drift drifted silently through the dark stretch of space, its hull scarred with years of travel and battles long forgotten. Inside, life moved cautiously. Children played in narrow corridors, workers maintained systems, and humans tried to live normal lives inside a machine that had become their home. Most did not know what waited in the hidden levels, and even fewer could imagine the power sleeping there. Elio sat on the smooth metal floor of Vault Zero, his small legs crossed, the crown on his head pulsed with soft light, warmth radiating through him like a living heartbeat. Every machine in the vault seemed to respond to him, their ancient circuits sparking to life, their long-dormant systems humming with energy. Lysa and Marek watched him, unsure whether to stay near or step back, afraid to break the fragile balance the child had created. "The ship is awake," Lysa whispered. Her voice trembled, but her eyes were wide with awe. "I have studied ancient systems for decades. Nothing I've seen, nothing I have ever imagined, is like this." Marek, the lead guard, leaned against a pillar, his arms crossed. He had fought in battles across human space, faced pirates, rogue AI, and marauding alien fleets. But he had never seen anything like this. "A child," he muttered. "We are putting the survival of humanity in the hands of a child." Elio looked at them both calmly, his dark eyes steady. "I know," he said softly. "But someone must do it. Someone must listen to the ship." "Ah." Lysa bit her lip. "Do you even understand what you are controlling?" Elio tilted his head. "I am not controlling it," he said. "I am asking it to remember. I am asking it to help." The vault shook slightly as energy flowed through hidden conduits, lighting the hallways and machines beyond. Hidden doors slid open, revealing chambers long forgotten by humans. Weapons that had been silent for centuries stirred in their places. Fighter ships that had been sealed for safety now hummed with potential power. Elio raised his small hand and pointed at a cluster of tiny ships in one hidden hangar. "They are ready," he said simply. Marek and Lysa exchanged nervous glances.
"Ready to fight?" Lysa asked. Elio shook his head.
"Ready to listen." Outside the ship, sensors picked up the enemy fleet again. They had not disappeared. They were waiting, circling at the edge of sensor range, confused by Haven Drift's sudden activity. Every weapon they activated failed. Every calculation turned meaningless. Their fleet had hunted humanity, assuming it was weak. Now they faced a city ship alive in ways they could not understand. Captain Rhea, standing on the command deck, observed the displays with a mix of awe and worry. "This is impossible," she muttered. "All systems respond only to him. Nothing else works." A young officer leaned forward. "Ma'am, we have tried every override. Sensors, weapons, shields. They all recognize him as the authority."
"No one else can activate them." Rhea rubbed her forehead.
"Then we rely on a child to save us?" "Yes," Marek replied from the vault, "and we have no choice." Elio stood before the central console, his small hands moving over controls that he had never touched before. Symbols shifted into words he could read, maps of human colonies, hidden pathways through space, and ancient communication networks appeared in front of him. Some signals had been dormant for hundreds of years, sealed when humans feared their own strength. He traced a finger along one of the distant stars, and a hidden colony appeared, long thought lost. "They are alive," Lysa whispered almost to herself. Elio nodded. "And they are waiting." The crown pulsed brighter. Machines around the vault responded to his thoughts, activating systems far beyond the walls. Small fighters in the hidden hangars powered up, their lights blinking in sequence. They were old but fast and precise, designed for a time when humans needed guardians, not soldiers. Marek shook his head.
"How can a child make them do this?"
"They do not listen to him like a master," Lysa said. "They respond because he is part of the system, part of the ship itself." The first enemy ships approached the outer shields. They fired, expecting to overwhelm the city ship with numbers. Beams of light struck the hull but did not penetrate. Energy rippled through the shields, bending, splitting, and returning in small bursts toward the attackers. The enemy ships flinched, their calculations failing repeatedly. Elio raised a hand and guided the small fighters from the hangars. They moved as if alive, weaving through enemy fire with impossible agility. Lasers fired from the fighters with deadly precision, hitting the enemy before they could react. Every move was anticipated, every attack countered. The city ship was no longer just a vessel. It was a living guardian of humanity, and Elio was its heart. Sweat beaded on his forehead. He had never used this much power before. His small body ached, and his mind was flooded with data from every system in the vault, the ship, and the fighters. Yet he remained calm, focused. Every command was deliberate, every motion careful. Marek watched in disbelief. "He is? Controlling all of it at once?" "Yes," Lysa said, her voice shaking. "He is listening to the ship, and the ship listens to him. It has never responded like this to anyone before." The enemy fleet began to retreat slightly, realizing their attacks were useless. Their largest ships could not find openings in the shield. Their weapons seemed to turn against them. Confusion spread among the enemy commanders, who had thought humans were weak, predictable, and desperate. They did not understand how a single city ship could defy them, guided by a child no older than some of their crew. Elio's small hands grew tired. His mind ached as energy flowed through him, from the crown into the city ship, through every fighter, every turret, every sensor. Yet he could not stop. If he did, the fleet would return, and humanity would not survive. Lysa knelt beside him. "Elio, you must rest. You cannot do this forever." Elio shook his head. "If I stop, they will destroy everything. I cannot stop now." Marek stepped closer, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder.
"He is right. We follow him."
He knows what to do. The enemy ships fired again, but their beams were deflected, diverted,
and neutralized by the city ship's systems.
The hidden fighters darted through space, striking with precision and speed no human pilot could match. The city ship had become an organism, alive and aware, with Elio as its guiding mind. Meanwhile, the High Circle watched from their chamber. Panic and confusion flashed across their faces. "Impossible," one member said. "How can a child control the final secret?" Another council member shook their head. "We underestimated the power of innocence. This is why it was sealed." Only one with no hunger for control could awaken it. The fleet continued to retreat, confused and demoralized. Havendrift's presence alone disrupted their strategies. All they could do was wait, unable to act against a child who had awakened powers older than history. Elio felt the strain of the crown. His small hands trembled slightly, and his mind swirled with data from the ship, the hangars, and the enemy positions. Yet he did not panic. He focused on guiding the energy, listening to the ship, and keeping humans safe. Lysa noticed his fatigue. "Elio, please, you need to stop. We will manage the rest." Elio shook his head again. "I cannot stop. Not yet. Not while they are here." Marek glanced at Lysa. "Then we help him. There is no other way." The battle continued for hours. Enemy ships tried to find openings, but every strike was anticipated. Every maneuver was countered. The small fighters moved through space with grace, dodging fire and striking accurately. The city ship itself seemed to respond to the boys' thoughts, bending shields and redirecting energy as needed. Finally, the enemy fleet withdrew beyond sensor range. The city ship's hum softened, and the hidden fighters powered down. Elio collapsed to the floor, exhausted. The crown dimmed to a soft glow, easing the energy through him. Lysa knelt beside him, brushing his hair back gently.
"You did it," she whispered. "You saved us all."
Elio looked up at her, still calm. "This is only the beginning," he said. "They will come back, and next time it will be worse." Marek helped him stand. "Then we prepare." Captain Rhea entered the vault, her eyes sharp but kind. "Child, you have changed everything. But there are still questions we need answered. How do you do this? Why you?" Elio touched the crown lightly. "Because I am supposed to. Someone has to listen. Someone has to guide humanity when it cannot guide itself." Mother Ash spoke softly from the consoles. "The path has begun. The heir has awakened. The final secret is no longer hidden." Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. The enemy fleet may have retreated, but the universe was vast and danger waited. Haven Drift was alive. Humanity had a small, crowned boy to guide it, and the future would not wait. Inside the vault, Elio looked out at the stars, feeling the weight of what he carried. He was small, but he held the key to everything. And he would not fail. Elio sat quietly in the center of Vault Zero, his small legs crossed, his hands resting lightly on the console. The glow from the crown pulsed softly, like a heartbeat he could feel. Machines around him hummed and clicked, responding to his thoughts in ways humans had long forgotten. Lysa and Marek remained close, watching every move, every flicker of light, unsure whether to speak or stay silent. Captain Rhea appeared at the vault entrance, her steps slow but purposeful. Her eyes were sharp, scanning the room, but softened when they rested on the boy. "Elio," she said, her voice low, "we need to understand what we are dealing with. The enemy may have retreated, but they will return. And next time, they will not hesitate. Elio looked up at her. His dark eyes were calm, but there was a weight behind them, an understanding far beyond his years. "I know," he said simply. "I can feel them. They are thinking, watching, waiting for a weakness." Lysa stepped forward. "We need to prepare the fighters again. They responded well the first time, but we cannot rely on you carrying everything alone. You are still a child?" Elio shook his head. "I do not carry it alone. I listen, and the ship listens too. If we are careful, it will guide us." Merrick frowned. "With the entire fleet out there waiting to strike? That is not enough." Elio pressed his small hands against the console. The lights in the room shifted, and a holographic display rose, showing star systems, hidden routes, and colonies that had been lost to time. "They will come," he said, pointing to one distant star. "But we are not alone."
Others are waiting. Others will respond if we signal them.
Lysa's eyes widened. "You mean other human colonies? People we thought were gone?" Elio nodded. "Yes, they are hidden, silent, but they are alive. We are not the last." Marek shook his head, disbelief on his face. "All this time we thought we were humanity's final hope, and there were others waiting? How is that possible?" "Because we were not ready," Elio said softly. "No one was ready until now." Outside, Haven Drift's shields shimmered faintly in space. The enemy fleet had retreated, but their presence lingered. Scouts and patrols circled in distant orbits, searching for signs of weakness. The city ship had revealed itself as a living entity, but the enemy did not understand the connection between Elio and the machines. They only knew that their attacks had failed, and their fleet was not invincible. On the command deck, Captain Reyes stared at the displays. "We cannot fight them in the open," she said. "If we do, we risk everything." A young officer looked at her nervously. "Ma'am, what do we do then?" Ria's jaw tightened. "We prepare. We awaken what has been hidden for centuries. And we trust the boy." Back in the vault, Elio traced a path through the holographic display. He touched one hidden star system, and a signal pulsed outward. Machines in the vault and the ship responded instantly, carrying the message across light years, activating dormant communication nodes, and awakening colonies long thought lost. Lysa gasped. "He's calling them," she whispered.
"E is sending a signal to the other colonies."
Elio nodded, his small face calm.
"They will answer."
They will come if humanity needs them. Marek ran his hand through his hair. This is incredible and terrifying.
"We have no idea what will happen when they respond. They may be allies, or they may see us as a threat." The crown pulsed brighter. Elio could feel the energy of the ship flowing through him. Every system, every fighter, every hidden machine responded to his mind. He could sense the enemy fleet's movements, even without looking. He could feel their confusion, their fear, and he could feel the ship's desire to protect the humans inside. Suddenly, a warning light blinked across the vault. Sensors had detected movement inside Haven Drift itself. Shadows moved in the corridors beyond the vault, and the sound of mechanical footsteps echoed softly. "They are inside," Marek said, his voice low. "Someone or something." Lysa grabbed a small energy baton from her belt. "High Circle agents?" she asked. "Or spies?" Elio shook his head. "Not spies. They are searching for me. They know who I am. They want the crown." The vault doors hissed as they slid open. 3 figures stepped inside, cloaked in dark uniforms that marked them as High Circle enforcers. Their faces were hidden beneath helmets, but their intentions were clear. They carried weapons and tools designed to subdue or destroy. "Step away from the console," one of them commanded. Their voice was mechanical, cold. "The child must not touch the final secret." Helio's eyes did not waver. He stood slowly, the crown glowing brighter, and the machines of the vault responded. Columns of energy shifted, creating barriers of light between the enforcers and the console. The air hummed with tension, and the enforcers hesitated, sensing the power in the room. Marek stepped forward, placing himself between the enforcers and Helio. "You will not harm him," he said firmly. The enforcer paused, scanning Marek. "You will step aside. The child cannot control what he does not understand." Lysa moved closer to Elio. "Do not let them reach you," she whispered. Elio raised a small hand. "I do understand. I have always understand." The crown pulsed, sending a wave of energy through the vault. Machines responded instantly, shifting panels, raising barriers, and locking doors. The enforcers fired, but their shots struck the barriers and bounced harmlessly back. Elio's calm focus guided every motion. "You cannot hold this forever," one enforcer said, frustrated. "We have authority from the High Circle. We are ordered to remove the child." Elio shook his head. "Orders do not matter. Only protection matters." The enforcers advanced, but the barriers shifted with Elio's thoughts. Lights moved, floors shifted, and machines reached out, blocking their path. Every attempt to reach him failed. Suddenly, the vault shook. The city ship itself responded to the disturbance. Energy pulsed through the walls and floors, vibrating with life. Elio could feel every movement, every threat, every possibility. "We cannot hold him forever," Lysa whispered to Marek. Marek shook his head. "He is not holding them. He is guiding them, and they are responding. That is why they cannot reach him." The enforcers finally paused, reassessing. They were trapped, unable to advance, unable to retreat. The vault had become a cage for them, powered by a child and the machines he had awakened. Elio looked at them, calm and steady. "Leave," he said. "You cannot take what is not yours, and you will not harm humanity." For a long moment, silence filled the vault. The enforcers exchanged glances. Finally, one stepped back, then another, until they retreated, leaving the vault doors open but empty. Lysa exhaled. "He did it," she whispered. "He made them leave without a fight." Elio nodded. "There will be more," he said. "They will not stop, but now we are ready." Marek clenched his fists. "Ready? How?" "He is a child. He cannot fight everyone alone." Elio touched the crown lightly. "I do not fight alone. The ship fights with me. The hidden colonies fight with us. Humanity fights with me." The words settled over them like a promise. Havendrift hummed with energy, alive and alert. The hidden fighters in the hangars prepared for movement. Signals pulsed across space, awakening colonies and allies. Humanity was no longer hiding. It was preparing to rise. Captain Rhea stepped closer to the console. "Child, you are more than I imagined, but the enemy will return. They will come with greater force. You must be ready." Elio looked up at her, dark eyes steady and calm. "I am ready," he said. "I know what must be done, and we will not fail." Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. The enemy fleet had retreated, but the universe was wide, and threats waited in the dark. Havendrift was alive, And with Elio at its heart, humanity had a chance. Inside the vault, the small crowned heir looked out at the stars, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He was still a child, small and fragile in the eyes of most, but he carried the power of centuries, the hope of millions, and the final secret that could change humanity's destiny. And for the first time, he understood what it meant to be truly human, not just to survive, but to lead, to protect, and to guide a species that had been waiting for someone like him. Haven Drift moved silently through the dark emptiness of space, its hull glowing faintly as the energy of the crown flowed through the ship. Inside, every system hummed in harmony, responding to Elio's thoughts as though the city ship were alive in a way humans had never imagined. The small heir sat on the smooth floor of Vault Zero, his hands lightly resting on the console, eyes closed, focusing on the flow of energy that ran through the ship, the hangars, and the distant hidden colonies. Lysa knelt beside him, her hand gently brushing his hair back from his forehead. "You have done more than any human could imagine," she whispered. "You've awakened them. You've awakened the ship." Elio opened his eyes slowly. They were dark, steady, and calm, but filled with a quiet intensity. "I have only listened," he said softly. "The ship knows what to do. The others know what to do. I only guide." Marek, standing nearby, paced restlessly. "Guide," he muttered. "Child, this is war. Guidance is not enough. They will come back, and next time they will not hesitate. The enemy fleet will not retreat again. They will destroy everything if we are not ready." Elio's small hands moved over the console, and the ship responded instantly. Holographic displays rose from the floor, showing the enemy fleet returning from the edge of sensor range. Their ships had repaired, regrouped, and now approached with greater numbers. Weapons charged, engines ready. The small fighters in Haven Drift's hidden hangars began to hum with energy, waiting for orders. "They are coming," Lysa said, her voice low. "We cannot stop them alone." Elio nodded. "We are not alone," he said. He touched the console again, sending signals across the stars. Hidden colonies stirred. Long-forgotten ships rose from hangars, and dormant systems that had been sealed for centuries awakened. Humanity was no longer hiding. It was preparing to rise. Captain Rhea appeared at the vault entrance, her expression tense. "Child, they will be upon us soon. Can you control all of this? All these systems? All these ships?" Elio nodded. "I can. But I need help. We all fight together." Marek glanced around the vault, anxiety clear on his face. "Together? With a child leading us? With the fleet and the ship under his command?" Lysa placed a hand on his arm. "He is not just a child. He is the heir. He carries the final secret. And the ship responds to him. That is why the enemy cannot touch us." The first shots of the enemy fleet struck Haven Drift's outer shields. The hull shivered under the impact, but it held. Energy flowed through the city ship, bending and redirecting the blasts, sending them back toward the attackers in small pulses. The enemy fleet recoiled, confused by what should have been an easy assault. Elio raised a hand, guiding the hidden fighters from their hangars. They moved as if alive, weaving through enemy fire with impossible precision. Lasers struck the enemy ships before they could react. The city ship itself seemed to anticipate every attack, bending energy and gravity to defend itself and the humans inside. Marek could hardly believe his eyes. They are? Moving on their own? Responding to him? "They are listening," Lysa whispered. "Not to his commands, but to him. To his mind. The ship, the fighters, even the hidden colonies. They respond because he is the heir. The enemy fleet pressed forward, but their weapons were ineffective. Every beam was deflected, every missile intercepted, every strategy countered. Havendrift was no longer a city ship. It was a living guardian, guided by the small crowned heir. Elio's hands ached, and his mind was flooded with data from every system in the ship, from every fighter, every hidden colony, every energy reserve. But he remained calm. Every decision was deliberate, every movement precise. He was not afraid. He was focused on protecting humanity. Lysa knelt beside him, her voice trembling. "Elio, you must rest. You cannot sustain this forever." Elio shook his head. "If I stop, they will destroy everything. I cannot stop now." Marek stepped closer. "Then we help him. There is no other way." The battle continued. Enemy ships attempted to flank Haven Drift, but every maneuver was anticipated. Every attack was countered. The small fighters darted through space, striking with deadly accuracy. The city ship itself moved like a living organism, protecting humans and guiding the defenders. Inside the vault, Mother Ash spoke softly from the consoles. "The heir grows stronger with every pulse of energy. He guides humanity with clarity, with purpose, and with care." Outside, the enemy fleet began to falter. Their calculations failed. Their strategy collapsed under the precision of Havendrift's defense. The hidden colonies responded to Elio's signals, joining the battle with small but highly advanced ships. The enemy fleet was now facing not one city ship, but a coordinated human force that had been waiting in silence for centuries. Elio felt the strain of the crown. His small body ached. His mind swirled with numbers, coordinates, strategies, and energy flows. Yet he remained calm, focusing on the ship, the fighters, and the humans relying on him. Marek whispered, "He is holding all of this together. With his mind, he is holding us all together." Lysa nodded. "He is not just holding us. He is guiding us, and the enemy cannot touch him." Suddenly, the enemy fleet launched a concentrated attack on Haven Drift's core. Beams of energy struck the hull, and the city ship shuddered. Alarms blared, warning of stress on the systems. The small fighters moved in response, intercepting the beams, deflecting the energy, and protecting the ship. Elio pressed both hands on the console, guiding energy through the city ship. The crown glowed brighter, and the ship responded instantly. Shields strengthened, energy redirected, and the enemy beams were turned back on the attackers. The city ship pulsed like a heartbeat, alive and aware, defending itself and its passengers. Marek watched in awe. He is doing it. He is controlling everything. The ship, the fighters, even the energy. Lysa nodded. Not controlling. Guiding. That is the difference. He does not fight with power alone. He guides with understanding. The enemy fleet faltered, unable to adapt to the precision and coordination of Haven Drift and the hidden colonies. One by one, their ships were disabled or forced to retreat. The small fighters darted through space like swarms of intelligent insects, striking accurately and then vanishing before the enemy could respond. Elio felt the crown's energy pulsing through him, but he did not falter. He guided every fighter, every system, every shield, with calm determination. Humanity's hidden power was awakening through him, and he was its conduit. The battle raged for hours, but gradually the enemy fleet began to retreat. Their ships were damaged, their morale broken, and their strategy in ruins. Haven Drift had proven that humanity was not weak, not alone, and not unprepared. Finally, silence fell. The city ship hummed softly, returning to a calm energy flow. The small fighters powered down and the hidden colonies returned to their secret stations. Elio slumped to the floor, exhausted, his small body trembling from the strain. The crown dimmed to a soft glow, easing the flow of energy through him. Lysa knelt beside him, brushing his hair back gently. "You did it," she whispered. "You saved humanity." Elio looked up, calm but aware of the weight he carried.
"This is only the beginning," he said. "They will come back."
"And next time, it will be worse." Marek helped him to his feet. "Then we prepare." Together, Captain Rhea entered the vault, her expression a mix of awe and concern. "Child, you have changed everything. But the enemy will return. They will come with greater force."
You must be ready. Elio touched the crown lightly.
"I am ready," he said. "I know what must be done, and we will not fail." Mother Ash spoke softly from the consoles. "The path has begun. The heir has awakened. The final secret is no longer hidden. Humanity has risen again." Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. The enemy fleet may have retreated, but the universe was vast, and threats waited in the dark. Haven Drift was alive, and with Elio at its heart, humanity had a chance. Inside the vault, the small crowned heir looked out at the stars, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He was still a child, but he carried the power of centuries, the hope of millions, and the final secret that could shape humanity's destiny. And for the first time, he understood what it meant to be truly human. Not just to survive, but to lead, to protect, and to guide a species that had waited for someone like him. The universe would test them all, but with the tiny crowned heir, humanity had found its guide, its protector, and its spark of hope. Haven Drift floated through the endless black of space, its hull glowing faintly with the power of systems awakening under the guidance of the small crowned heir. Elio sat cross-legged in Vault Zero, hands resting lightly on the console, eyes closed, listening. He could feel the pulse of the city ship through the crown, the flow of energy through every corridor, every fighter, every hidden colony waiting beyond the stars. Lysa knelt beside him, her hand brushing lightly against his arm.
Elio, the enemy is not gone. They are waiting, planning their next strike.
This time they will not retreat. Elio opened his eyes, calm and steady. "I know," he said softly. "We have time to prepare. We are not alone." Marek paced behind them, his hands clenched. "Prepare? With a child leading us? How do we prepare for a fleet we cannot even see?" Elio pressed his small hands against the console. Holographic displays rose from the floor, showing star systems, hidden routes, and secret colonies. "We will call them," he said, "the hidden colonies. They will answer. We will stand together." Outside, sensors picked up movement on the edge of the system. The enemy fleet had returned, larger this time, more coordinated, their engines glowing as they approached Haven Drift. They fired warning shots, small missiles and energy pulses, testing the city ship's defenses. The shields held, bending energy around the hull, redirecting attacks with precision. The fleet paused, confused by the city ship's sudden activity. Captain Rhea appeared in the vault, her face tense. "Child, can you manage this? There are too many targets, too many ships. They will not wait this time." Elio shook his head. "I do not fight alone," he said. "We fight together. The ship, the colonies, the fighters. We are all one. Lysa nodded, her voice steady.
He is right. He is guiding us, not controlling us.
That is why the enemy cannot touch us. Marek frowned. If he is guiding, then the question is, how far can this guidance reach? Can it reach the colonies before the fleet attacks? Elio tapped the console. The crown pulsed, sending a signal across the stars. Hidden colonies stirred. Ships rose from their hangars, engines glowing, weapons ready. The human fleet, once scattered and forgotten, was awakening, answering the call of the tiny crowned heir. The enemy fleet began its assault in earnest. Beams of energy struck the outer shields of Haven Drift. The hull shivered under the impact, but the city ship responded instantly, bending energy, redirecting attacks, and sending pulses back toward the enemy. Small fighters launched from hidden hangars, weaving through the battlefield with impossible precision, striking the enemy before they could react. Elio felt the strain of the crown. His small hands ached. His mind overwhelmed with the flow of energy, the commands of ships, and the presence of the enemy fleet. Yet he remained calm, focused, and deliberate. Every decision was precise. Every movement mattered. Humanity's hidden power was awakening through him. Marek and Lysa watched in awe. He is holding everything together, Marek whispered. With his mind, he is holding the fleet, the ship, and the hidden colonies. They are responding to him, not just following him, Lysa said softly. He is guiding humanity itself. The battle raged for hours. The enemy fleet pressed forward. But every attack was anticipated. Every maneuver was countered. Haven Drift moved like a living organism, protecting humans and guiding the defenders. The hidden colonies joined the fight, adding their forces to the city ship's defense. Haven. Elio's hands trembled slightly as the strain increased. He could feel the weight of every life depending on him. He could feel the energy of every ship, every system, and every human. The crown pulsed brightly, sending waves of power through the city ship. Every barrier, every shield, every fighter was connected to him. Suddenly, the enemy launched a concentrated attack on Haven Drift's core. Beams of energy struck the hull, shaking the city ship violently. Alarms blared, warning of stress on the systems. The hidden fighters moved in response, intercepting the beams and protecting the ship. Elio pressed both hands on the console. The crown glowed brighter than ever. Energy surged through the ship, bending space and power, turning the enemy's attack against them. The shield strengthened, the hull absorbed energy, and beams returned to strike the enemy fleet. The city ship pulsed like a heartbeat, alive and aware, defending itself and its humans. Marek watched, amazed. He is doing it. He is controlling everything. The ship, the fighters, even the energy. He is holding us all together. Lysa nodded. He is guiding, not controlling. That is why the enemy cannot touch him. He is not just defending. He is showing humanity's strength. The enemy fleet faltered. Their strategy collapsed under the coordination of Haven Drift and the hidden colonies. Ships were disabled, weapons neutralized, and morale broken. The small fighters moved through space like swarms of intelligent creatures, striking accurately and vanishing before the enemy could respond. Elio felt the crown's energy flow through him, but he did not falter. He guided every fighter, every shield, every system, with calm determination. Humanity's hidden strength flowed through him, and he was its conduit. Finally, the enemy fleet began to retreat. Their numbers reduced, morale shattered, strategy destroyed. Haven Drift had proven that humanity was not weak, not alone, and not unprepared. Silence fell over the city ship. The hidden fighters powered down, returning to their hangars. The hidden colonies withdrew to their secret stations. Elio slumped to the floor, exhausted, his small body trembling from the strain. The crown dimmed, the energy calming, but its warmth remained. Lysa knelt beside him, brushing his hair gently. "You did it," she whispered. "You have saved humanity again." Elio looked up at her, calm yet aware of the weight he carried.
"This is only the beginning," he said. "They will come back."
"And next time, it will be worse." Marek helped him to his feet. "Then we prepare together. We will stand with you." Dublin. Captain Rhea entered the vault, her expression serious. "Child, you have changed everything. The enemy will return with greater force."
You must be ready for what is coming.
Elio touched the crown lightly. "I am ready," he said. "I know what must be done." "And we will not fail." Mother Ash's voice came softly from the consoles. "The air grows stronger with every challenge. Humanity is awakening again. The final secret is no longer hidden. They will learn that humanity cannot be broken." Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. The enemy fleet may have retreated, but the universe was vast, and threats waited in the dark. Haven Drift was alive. Humanity had a small crowned boy to guide it, and a hope it had not known for centuries. Elio looked out at the stars, feeling the weight of his responsibility. He was still a child, but he carried the power of centuries, the hope of millions, and the final secret that could shape humanity's destiny. He understood what it meant to be truly human, not just to survive, but to lead, protect, and guide a species that had waited for someone like him. The path ahead would be dangerous, full of challenges, and the enemy would not stop. But with the tiny crowned heir at its heart, humanity had found a spark, a guide, and a protector. For the first time, the humans aboard Haven Drift felt more than survival. They felt hope. Haven Drift drifted silently through the stars, its hull glowing faintly with the energy of the crown. Inside Vault Zero, Elio sat cross-legged on the floor, hands resting lightly on the console. The small boy's eyes were dark and steady, focused, yet carrying the weight of centuries of human history. The crown pulsed softly, a rhythm like a heartbeat, and the city ship hummed in response, alive in ways no human had ever seen. Lysa knelt beside him, brushing his hair gently. "Elio, the enemy has returned," she whispered. "They are larger this time, stronger. They will not stop until we are destroyed." Elio's small hands hovered over the console. He closed his eyes and listened. Energy pulsed through him, through the city ship, through the hidden colonies he had awakened. Every movement, every ship, every system responded to him. "I know," he said softly. "We are ready." Marek, pacing behind them, ran his hand through his hair. "Ready? We have never faced anything like this. The last attack was only a test. This time, they will not hold back. They will destroy us if we are not careful." Elio shook his head. "They cannot destroy what is alive. Havendrift is alive. Humanity is alive. And we are together. That is enough." Captain Rie entered the vault, her eyes sharp but calm. "Child, the enemy fleet is approaching fast. They have learned from the last attack. Their weapons are stronger, faster, more precise. Can you guide everything again?" Elio nodded. "I can guide them," he said. "I can protect everyone. But we must act together." Outside, the enemy fleet emerged from the shadows of a nearby asteroid field. Hundreds of ships, engines glowing, weapons charged, moving in perfect formation. Their commanders had learned from the previous attack, but they still could not understand the power of Haven Drift. The city ship's shield shimmered faintly, bending energy around its hull, redirecting attacks and sending pulses back toward the enemy. The hidden fighters in the hangars powered up. Engines hummed, lights flickered, and energy weapons glowed. Small but fast, agile and deadly, they darted through space, ready to defend the city ship. The signals Elio had sent to the hidden colonies pulsed across light years. Ships responded, rising from hangars, weapons charged and systems active. Humanity's secret fleet was awakening. Elio placed his hands on the console, and the crown pulsed brighter. Energy surged through Haven Drift, the small fighters and the hidden colonies. He felt every movement, every calculation, every energy flow. The crown's warmth spread through him, steady and insistent, connecting him to everything around him. The enemy fired first. Beams of energy struck the shields, shaking the hull violently. The city ship responded immediately, bending energy, redirecting blasts, and sending pulses back at the enemy. The fighters darted through the beams, striking with precision before disappearing into space again. Marek watched in awe. He is controlling everything, all of it. The ship, the fighters, the colonies. He is holding humanity together. Lysa whispered, "He is not just holding it. He is guiding it. That is why the enemy cannot touch us. They are too slow, too predictable." The battle raged for hours. The enemy fleet pressed harder, more coordinated, more desperate. Their weapons were stronger, their strategies calculated. But Haven Drift moved like a living organism, protecting humans, guiding defenders, and coordinating with the hidden colonies. Elio felt the strain of the crown. His small hands trembled slightly. His mind was filled with the flow of energy, the commands of ships, the enemy's attacks, and the lives of everyone depending on him. But he remained calm. Every decision was deliberate, every movement precise. Humanity's hidden strength flowed through him, and he was its heart. Suddenly, the enemy concentrated their fire on Haven Drift's core. Energy beams struck the hull, shaking the ship violently. Alarms blared. Every system screamed under the stress. The small fighters moved in response, intercepting the beams and protecting the ship. Elio pressed both hands on the console. The crown pulsed with energy, brighter than ever. Power surged through the city ship, bending space and energy. The enemy's beams were turned against them, the shield strengthened, and the fighters moved like a living swarm, striking with deadly precision. Marek whispered, "He is doing it. He is controlling everything. The ship, the fighters, the energy. He is holding us all together."
Lysa nodded. He is guiding, not controlling. That is the difference.
He is showing humanity's strength, not just defending. The enemy fleet faltered. Their formations collapsed under the precision and coordination of Haven Drift and the hidden colonies. Ships were destroyed, weapons neutralized, and morale shattered. The small fighters darted through space like living creatures, striking accurately and vanishing before the enemy could respond. Elio could feel the enemy commander's frustration and fear. They had never faced a force like this. A child guiding not just a city ship, but an entire hidden human fleet. Every calculation they made failed. Every strategy collapsed. Humanity's strength, long hidden, now revealed itself through the tiny crowned heir. Finally, the enemy fleet began to retreat. Their numbers were reduced, morale broken, their strategy in ruins. Haven Drift had proven that humanity was not weak, not alone, and not unprepared. Silence returned to the city ship. Fighters powered down and returned to hangars. Hidden colonies withdrew to their secret stations. Elio slumped to the floor, exhausted. His small body shook from the strain. The crown dimmed, its glow soft and gentle, its energy calming. Lysa knelt beside him.
You did it, she whispered. You saved humanity again. You have done the impossible. Elio looked up, calm yet aware of the weight he carried.
This is only the beginning, he said. There will always be those who try to destroy what we protect. But we are ready. Marek helped him to his feet. Then we prepare. Together, we will stand with you, child. We will follow you wherever it leads. Captain Rhea entered the vault, her face a mixture of awe and concern. Child, you have changed everything. The enemy will come again, stronger, faster, more determined. You must be ready for the challenges ahead. Elio touched the crown lightly. I am ready, he said. I know what must be done, and we will not fail.
Mother Ash spoke softly from the consoles.
The air has grown stronger with every challenge. Humanity is awakening again. The final secret is no longer hidden. They will learn that humanity cannot be broken. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. The enemy fleet may have retreated, but the universe was wide, and dangers waited in the dark. Heaven Drift was alive, and with Elio at its heart, humanity had a chance. Elio looked out at the stars, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his small shoulders. He was still a child, but he carried the power of centuries, the hope of millions, and the final secret that could shape humanity's destiny. He understood what it meant to be truly human, not just to survive, but to lead, to protect, and to guide a species that had waited for someone like him. The path ahead would be dangerous, full of enemies and trials, but with the tiny crowned heir at its heart, humanity had found its spark, its protector, and its guide. Inside the vault, the humans who had gathered around him finally understood. They were no longer just survivors. They were participants in a force larger than themselves, a hidden strength of humanity awakened and guided by the smallest of leaders. Elio closed his eyes for a moment, feeling the pulse of Haven Drift, the energy of the hidden colonies, and the breath of every human aboard the ship. He felt the crown warm, alive, and steady. It was not just a piece of metal. It was a key, a guide, and a promise. The universe was vast, and threats would continue to come. But with the small crowned heir, humanity had found hope. And hope, Elio knew, was stronger than any weapon. He opened his eyes, looking at Lysa, Marek, Captain Rhea, and Mother Ash. We will rise, he said quietly. We will protect humanity. We will not fail, and we will guide our people to the stars, together. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, and Haven Drift moved forward, alive, powerful, and guided by the smallest of hands. The future was uncertain, the dangers real, but humanity had awakened, and humanity had its heir. The tiny, crowned boy stood at the heart of it all, a living bridge between the past, present, and future, holding the final secret and showing that no matter how small, one could carry the weight of a world and still shine brighter than the stars. The universe waited, but humanity would not wait. It would rise.